So Mayor, we'll note her absence at the beginning of closed session, but we're going to do the excusal process at the beginning of the open session.
Good evening, everyone. We're going to call the meeting to order for the City of Indio, the Indio Water Authority, and the Indio Housing Authority for 4:05. We'll have a roll call, please.
Councilmember Benjamin Guitron.
Present.
Councilmember Oscar Ortiz.
Present.
Councilmember Wayman Furman.
Present.
And Mayor Glenn Miller.
Present. This time we have public comments. Anyone want to speak on an item for the closed session? Is anybody in the queue or any comments been posted?
None, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on from item 2 to item number 3 now. Is to adjourn the closed session for 2 items, 3.1 and 3.2, both conferences with legal counsel for anticipated litigation. The second one is conference with real property negotiations. So with that, we'll adjourn the closed session. Good evening. Thank you for being here. We're going to start the regular session of the City Council for the City of Indio with the Indio Water Authority and the Indio Housing Authority. Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Guitron.
Present.
Councilmember Ortiz.
Present.
Councilmember Furman.
Present.
And Mayor Miller.
Present.
Mayor?
Mr. City Attorney?
Yes, I would recommend that the council consider a motion to excuse the absence of the mayor pro tem, and that in the future, if we do have an absent council member who has provided notice to the council in advance of that absence, that we do the same thing and reflect it in the minutes.
We have first by Councilmember Furman, second by Councilmember Ortiz. All those in favor, please vote. Our vote either way is approved 4-0. Passed unanimously. Thank you very much, Mr. City Attorney. With that, we'll move on to the invocation. We have Pastor Stephen Sloat of the Coachella Valley Christian Church. If he'd come up, Pastor. Thank you for being here.
Please join me in prayer. Most holy God, we thank you for the many freedoms that we share, which were endowed to us by you. We ask now for your hand of guidance on tonight's meeting of the Indio City Council. May you oversee their discussion and direct their decisions. We ask for your blessing upon this City Council and on all who serve Indio as employees of Indio. Lord, we ask especially for your protection on all those who work to keep us safe by serving with the police and fire departments, along with others who are first responders. And we request you to continue to bless the people of this excellent community. We ask all these things in your highly exalted name. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Sloat. With that, we have a very special person going to do our city Pledge of Allegiance. We have Miss Sophia Montes from Roosevelt Elementary School. She's an avid reader and talented artist, able to draw, paint, and craft just about anything using cardboard and hot glue gun. Always eager to get involved, whether at home, church, or school. She blends independence, confidence, and a strong sense of responsibility, making her a joy to have in any community. Currently serving as the elected secretary of the Student Council at Roosevelt Elementary. She's excited to be here with us today. The floor is yours.
I pledge allegiance
to the
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen. Wait there, we got a little swag bag for you. Great job. Let's come over here. Good stuff. With that, we'll move on to the city attorney report on closed session.
Thank you, Mayor. On item 3.1, on the first case, the City Council gave direction to initiate litigation by a vote of 4-0, with Mayor Pro Tem Holmes absent. On the second item under 3.2, the City Council gave direction to initiate litigation by a vote of 4-0, with Mayor Pro Tem Holmes absent. That is all the reportable action of closed session today, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. With that, we'll move on to the city council conflict of interest disclosure. Do we have anybody that has to declare anything? Okay, with that, we'll move on to the next item, which is the city council reports on meetings attended for the government code section
Mayor?
53232. Yes?
We skipped the youth advisory
Oh,
council.
I did. I'm sorry.
Very important report.
Youth Advisory Council. Yes, I did. I'm sorry. Please.
Good afternoon, Mayor, council members, and audience. I'm Kaylee Ciceros. A few weeks ago, some of our YAC members helped out on a street cleanup which took place from James Madison Elementary School all the way to Starbucks on Avenue 46. Some of us will also be attending the Desert Youth Town Hall this Friday at the Esmeralda Resort. to listen to Stephen Harper, former Prime Minister of Canada. Thank you, and this concludes my report.
Thank you very much, and thank you for being here. That, Mr. City Manager, reports and information.
Thank you, Mayor. Just talking about some events downtown. Tomorrow night we have movie in the park at the center stage. That'll start at 6:30 rather. Remember the Titans, and then of course our event on Saturday of Black History Month celebration that I'm sure some of you will touch on, and the free concert following that second Saturday. We do appreciate everyone's patience with all of the construction going on downtown. This is a grant project that will install storm drain throughout the downtown that has never had it. So there's quite a bit of dust as well as all the other construction, and we appreciate everyone's patience. But these events will go on, and we continue to see downtown thrive. With that, Mayor, that's my report.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. Now we'll get on to City Council reports on meetings attended for Government Code 53232.3. Mr. Gutron?
Thank you, Mayor. The first one is the formation at your request, and follow-up would be the council ad hoc committee regarding the police facility headquarters. Since the last Wednesday's council meeting, it was good. Staff facilitated. The city manager assigned, our assistant city manager, Jonathan, and he was able to get a meeting last week. It was very informative. I think that there was some details and stuff that we were able to discuss. Everything was really good, a good team effort. The architect was at the meeting, the city manager, along with Jonathan, representatives from our city attorney. As we move forward, there is some other things we didn't have the opportunity to speak to the contractor, and then with the hard work of the city staff and the city manager's office is obviously the funding. And the funding looks good, but we want to double check that every nickel and dime we have towards this project come back with a full report to the council, and a presentation will be given. The whole effort is to obviously do the best that we can, because this facility is the last important part for the future of your public safety and your city police, as well as they did a good job with the headquarters for the fire department, as well as you will see that for your police department. That was one. Today I had the responsibility of assisting the mayor and their appointee. Kim Hardy was there with the animal services with the county Riverside. It was put on by the county supervisor with animal services and their staff. We will need preliminary, a little bit more TLC with this. There is not just our city, but the rest of the cities. The county contracts with 7 of the 9 cities in the Coachella Valley, plus the county services. But there will be some things that we need to do and evaluate. And I know that the city manager, along with the assistant city manager and staff, we have a strategic plan coming up. I am really recommending that it needs to be on that radar. I reported that to the mayor. The city's growing. Since we went into that contract, there's a lot of things that need to get done and reviewed. Like I mentioned to them, we are the largest city in the valley. We're the second seat, and we need to start acting like that. And I told them in a good way. Our city is growing by leaps and bounds. It's good, but animals are part of this community. And I know that we really need to just look at it and see where we need to improve and what we're capable of doing. But there is some genuine concerns by that whole body that we just need to discuss. And Jonathan has done a good job representing us lately in the absence, but we appreciate that. And hopefully we can come some good. And thank you, Kim, you're in the audience. Thank you for your comments today and your support of your community and trying to make it better. Thank you so much. I was able to attend the Veteran of Foreign Wars in our American Legion. Those of you that have known Michael Pearson, a long member of the community, he at one time worked for the City of Indio Police Department, and when he left that department, he went to become an investigator for one of our well-known private practice defense counsel, Anderson, and he had his law firm here on Oasis Street. Well, Mike worked there, but he's also been involved in the community. He's been involved with obviously representing the veterans of our community and really doing a good job. So unfortunately, he's moving on to Texas. So the local American Legion had a farewell, and I was invited to attend. And it was good to not just their appreciate him, but really show him that the city and you as council, as this body, supports all this good hard work and effort supporting our veterans. So, other than that, that's all I have to report, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Gutron. Mr. Ortiz?
Thank you, Mayor. First, I want to thank our police department and staff for the message they put out last night, letting our immigrant community know that they don't need to worry about their immigration status during their interactions with the Indio police. By state law, our officers are not allowed to request information regarding immigration status during their interactions with our community, although also according to state law, we do coordinate with the federal government when it comes to serious violent crime and dangers to our community, such as violent felonies, human trafficking, and terrorism-related investigations. It's extremely important that we keep this up in the city because we need everyone in our city to be confident that they can call our police at any time that they have a safety emergency, and to make sure that we're not unnecessarily setting our community into panic during our police operations. Personally, I also think this is important because I know there's a history of human rights violations within immigration detention centers, and we don't want to expose any more civilians from any group to these types of unregulated prisons. If you need any legal assistance with immigration, I recommend reaching out to Todek Legal Center, who does a lot of legal work around immigration here in the Coachella Valley. Their phone number is 760-698-8787. Today, there's also a community meeting for the Metro 8 facility with Desert Recreation District. My Community Service Commissioner, Michael Slater, mentioned that one of the options they're considering is the skate park next to the building. And I know we have recently saved $1 million for a skate park at Miles Park as well. I would like staff to see if there's a way that we can both either collaborate on Miles Park or collaborate on the skate park at Metro 8 so that we can focus our funds on one well-funded skate park for our community. Today, we also attended the Commissioner Luncheon for our residents that serve on our city commissions. I want to thank the mayor for requesting that and thank staff for organizing that event to recognize our commissioners and to get them talking amongst each other to bring new ideas together for the future vision for Indio. I want to thank all of our commissioners for their time and dedication to our city, and we look forward to continuing the work with you all on our city projects. Lastly, I want to invite everyone to come out to our Black History Month event this Saturday from noon until 5 p.m. at our downtown stage. We'll have food trucks, games, speakers, and some good music going. Thank you to Councilmember Furman and our staff for helping us organize and promote that event this year. And then that event will be followed by our free concert for second Saturdays from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. I'm thinking I'll probably be there all day, so if anyone wants to talk politics or Black history, you can come find me there on Saturday. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Ortiz. Mr. Furman?
I'll be there all day, Mr. Ortiz, but I don't want to talk politics. Good evening and welcome. I hadn't been here in a while. I've been doing a lot of traveling, and so I'll start off. I've been gone, so I'll start off with my D.C. trip. I went to Washington, D.C. To witness the president signing the designation of the Chuckawalla National Monument. It was a great experience, well worth the trip. I wasn't going to go, but our city manager said, it'd probably be a good, once-in-a-lifetime good idea to go. I'm glad that I went to witness our history of our country. Being there in the White House, it made me proud to be an American. So it was real good, and it was good to represent our valley. So that was a really good experience. Since my last meeting, I did attend a couple of ribbon cuttings. We did one for the Desert Tortoise at the North Jackson Park, which is a phenomenal piece of art. You have to go look at it. And I appreciate this body. I appreciate the staff for working on investing in some of our communities that have been traditionally left behind. And we're doing that in the old North Indio area with our sports park. We got development going there. We got artwork. We're working with the community. The community has been really engaged with the sports park. And some of the local businesses in that area are looking to expand. So I'm extremely excited about that. You see some of the progress with our Clean California grant that's going on with some of the shade structures going on the sidewalks. That's under construction. So I know sometimes construction, could slow you down and be a little hassle. But you know what? It's when we see construction, I mean, there's a lot of good work going on. So I appreciate everybody for that as well. I also attended the ribbon cutting for the Wellness Mode. That's a health center that we have over in North Indio as well. They do excellent work working with people, just maintaining their health. Congratulations to them. They're a small business owner. in our city, and we know small business is the backbone of our country. And also Rosemary Wi-Fi. That's another one I attended. A great new place downtown. We've been talking for years. When is downtown going to revitalize? Well, you know what is happening. And so we got a lot of good stuff still in progress. Can't wait to share. Can't share those secrets yet, but it's coming. So congratulations to Rosemary Wi-Fi, and got to check that place out. One of the other things I want to speak about is the Day Festival. Day Festival is coming, and it will start February 13th. It's going to be a little longer than it has been in the previous years. Our new operators, they've looked at the patterns of how fairs operate and how they work, and what's successful models and what's unsuccessful. And they found out that certain days are slower than others. The beginning of the week. Typically during February, we do experience rain as well. So they want to make sure that, their operators and our community has the best Riverside County Fair National Day Festival we could put on. So I'm extremely excited about that. And also our President's Day Parade. That's on the 17th. The council will be in it. I'm hearing that we have a lot more applicants for the parade. There will be some modifications to the route because of construction, but it still starts at Mounds Park, and it will end up on 111. So there'll be more information going into that, more concerts and good stuff. If you want more information for the Day Festival, go to dayfest.org, and you can find that there. I also was in Sacramento for Cal City's Economic Development and Housing meeting. Real good meeting. I had opportunity to talk to folks, to address some of their concerns with short-term rentals. I know we have some concerns that we're talking about here as far as folks purchasing a lot of properties and things like that. So I'm looking to work with the city manager and the council to look at some of those solutions and how we could best operate short-term rentals in our community. And I want to give a quick shout out to a young lady who put on the Black History event at John Glenn Middle School that I attended yesterday, Miss Eden Austin. She put on a great event, and so hopefully she comes to our event on Saturday. She had some guest speakers from our community. She had some entertainment, some singers. They had a lot of displays out there of Black history in our country. So congratulations to Eden Austin and her principal over at John Glenn for putting on a great event. And also we have our event here at the center stage on Saturday. It's going to be another Indio event. Indio is a place to be, and people want to be in Indio, and Saturday is going to be another one of those events. So we welcome everyone to come out and celebrate our local Black history and also our national Black history and learn some things. There'll be some panel discussions. There'll be a lot of food, of course. That's what Indio does. We feed you. And there will be some displays, and there'll also be some resources from the community that we invited as well. So we're looking forward to that. It starts at noon. It will end at 5, and then from 6 to 9, 10, we have the E&J band that's going to play. So we're looking forward to seeing everybody down here on Saturday. So that will conclude my report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Furman. Lots of good stuff. On mine, the only committee I had that was active was Sunline Transit Agency. We continued on. One of the things that Sunline has is the bus routes itself, but to get to the routes, we are using taxis and other opportunities like Uber and that to be able to bring people to the bus routes to be able to go out. It's about $1.5 million of investment that we're utilizing to be able to get people from areas that aren't near a bus route to be able to do that. It was first grant money. Now we're taking it out of our regular budget and putting it in there so we can continue that service. It works really well for seniors and people that live in areas that aren't near some of our bus routes. A lot of people don't realize that if you need bus service and you're more than 3/4 of a mile away from one of the routes, they will not come and get you. Sundial or anything else won't come and get you. That's just federal law. So this gives us an opportunity to use taxis and keep people busy when they're not as busy on doing regular routines or routes at the airport to be able to come in and bring people to the bus line or to appointments. So that was a great opportunity to continue that effort. And the Sunline board put $1.5 million into it to make sure it happens. And the other thing was we have 3 pensions at Sunline. They're all independently ran by the actual employees. And so the new Teamsters union wasn't in line with the other two, which had a board certified by the actual union. So we put those all together so that now they're continually running the same, and they're done by a board of people that are working for Sunline in the finance area, and then also the general manager along with the union members to make sure that their investments are being put in the right place so that they can continue to fund that. And it is funded at over 110%, so they've actually made money and funded it. So Sunline is in very good shape in their pension plan. One of the ribbon cuttings, besides all the other ones that none of my council members talked about, but were all attendance, was St. John's Community Health, which is the new building right by where the old mall was. It used to be where the Dollar Tree is. An amazing new facility that provides mental health, medical health, and also dental. And it has a mobile unit that they're taking out to the fields or to areas where people can't come into their facilities. So it's another great health benefit to our community, and we look forward to working with them on the needs of our community. But if you haven't seen the facility, please go look at it. Very well done, very well manned, and a great partner for the city of Indio. So we thank our staff for helping us with that. Desert Tortoise, I got to give a shout out to Layla Namvar. What an amazing new piece of art in North Jackson Park. If you haven't seen it, it was made by an artist who was a tile layer, and he decided he'd go into the artwork. He sold his business. So every tile on it is made by hand, and he says if you turn them around, you'll see his thumbprint on it. And then it was bottles of beer and other facilities that he got bottles from of all kinds that were all green. And so when it goes on at night, it lights up inside, and the shell lights up, the eyes light up, and everything else. It's just an amazing piece. And so I thought it was going to be this little itty-bitty thing, but it's 20 feet tall and 10 feet tall and 20 feet wide. And so if you haven't seen some of the art, it's changing the culture of the city of Indio, one art piece at a time. So I want to thank Layla for her work, and our art commission for continuing to come up with creative ways to bring art back into our city, and our good partner Golden Voice, who has given us lots of art pieces from the concerts, and you'll see them scattered throughout the city of Indio. So that's a great thing. I was fortunate enough to represent the city as the mayor at the All-Star game for the American Hockey League with the Firebirds and that. They put out the logo. You know, a great addition. If you haven't been to a Firebirds game, you really got to go down and see it. It's really exciting. The All-Star game was really unique in terms of the way they had it set up, but there was all 32 teams from all over the United States split into 4 divisions. So it was an amazing night, and it was great to see the community out because it's just a top-notch center. But at the same time, I mean, there's people from all over the valley you see are there enjoying the Firebirds. And then lastly, I want to thank our staff for the commission luncheon we had. It really was a thank you to our commissioners. They're unsung heroes when they volunteer. You know, they get a small stipend. Some of them do multiple meetings. Some of them do small meetings. You know, they only do once a month. But they're volunteers, and they really make a big difference in the way the city runs. Our planning commission, our community service, we can go on and on. Our sustainability, they're all doing great work for our city, and we thought we could do a little bit with them by getting them together so they could talk, because each committee's kind of different, commission is different, so this way they were able to get together, talk to one another, realize that they're all residents of the city of Indio. We thanked them with a certificate from the city, a nice binder to keep their notes on, and a thank you lunch at June Hill, which is another great little restaurant at the Trilogy, so if you haven't been there, please do, and thank you, city manager and the staff, for recognizing our commissioners. And that's all for me. So we will move on to our next item, which is 9.1, is the appointments to the delegate and alternate for the 2025 SCAG Annual General Assembly. Is there anybody that would like to be our delegate?
I'll be there.
Is that fine with everybody? Mr. Furman like to be a delegate? Are you going, Mr. Ortiz?
I'm not sure yet.
Okay, so we'll do as you as the alternate, because I know I'm not going to. Ben, are you attending?
I'm not as sure as.
Okay, so we have Mr. Furman as the delegate, and at this time Oscar is the alternate, and so we have a motion and a second. So all in favor, please vote.
There you go.
And it passes unanimously 4-0. Item number 9.2 is the appointment of myself as the mayor and Kim Hardy, who's here. Thank you, Kim, for your dedication to our animals, not only through your CAN organization, but also your continued support of our valley. to be the representatives and alternate on the Coachella Valley Animal Campus Commission.
Do you need a motion?
Yes, I do.
I so move appoint Mayor Glenn Miller and Ken Harding as the representatives and Ken as the alternative representative to the Coachella Valley Animal Campus Commission.
We have a first by Mr. Gatron, second by Mr. Ortiz, and Mr. Gatron, I figured you would pass that on considering you were the representative. So we can
You
all
gave me a
vote.
truckload and everything else, man.
Yes. Yep. Wayman, are you in? Okay. Everybody?
Excuse me.
Oh, Mr. Gatron. Passed unanimously 4-0. Thank you very much. I appreciate the honor. And we'll move on to item number 10, which is the consent calendar, 10-1 through 10-10. Does anybody want to pull anything off the consent calendar?
Go ahead.
Oh, no, if you rank up.
Go ahead.
I wanted to pull 10.8 just because I got some community concerns about the flock cameras. I think we always have some concerns about that, so I wanted to see if the chief
Please.
could present some information. I know we have some flock cameras already, so I asked him to gather some data on how they've been working for us here in the city.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Ortiz. Chief?
Good evening, Mayor, Council. I'm here before you today to present the amendment to the existing Master Services Agreement with Flock Group for the lease of an additional 27 cameras. They are Flock Safety Automatic License Plate Recognition cameras in the amount of $321,735. I have a presentation I would like to present to the council. We've had great success with these cameras. We currently have a number of cameras throughout the city, and what we have done, we've recovered over 22 vehicles since December 2022, and they've assisted in over 30 arrests here last year. We kind of break that down. 22 stolen vehicles recovered. Homicide investigative leads were 3. Hit and run investigations that were solved were 1. Missing person investigations 2. Other crimes, which include robberies, assault with deadly weapons, there were 12 that were solved in that category. And so it generated over 30 arrests in 2024. The agreement, the proposed amendment, will add an additional 27 cameras. That will bring our total cameras to 72 throughout the city. I wanted to focus on there's actually going to be 17 that are going to be on an easement along the 10 freeway. So we will actually catch a number of vehicles coming into our city and leaving our city. So that will be very helpful during a number of events throughout our city. We retain the right to cancel the contract with 90-day notice, and the agreement also includes data storage, installation, and other necessary equipment and supplies. That data storage is our own data that is housed in a cloud that is actually retained by the company, but it is our data. With that, I conclude my presentation. Any recommendations or questions?
Any questions?
Councilmember?
Are you,
I have 3, but
are you done, Oscar?
No, first one is the 300,000. Is that going to be a yearly fee?
No, actually,
'Cause I saw it was a lease, so that's why I'm asking.
yeah, the first amount, I believe, is $81,000. That will be taken, that will be paid out of SLESA, which is a law enforcement amount that we get from the state that we can pay out of that fund. But yes, the city then will pick up, I believe, I don't have the exact number here. Let's see. The recurring cost would be in 2025, $81,600, and it continues. So,
Okay. So city manager, is that a yearly 81,000?
So what you're seeing is the total over a 3-year period.
Gotcha. Thank you. Go ahead.
so just my
thank you, city
clarification.
manager.
Just my clarification. 81,000 city funds, or the grant offsets that.
It will be general funds.
Okay.
Yes.
My next question would be obviously the most serious is that homicide from 2024.
2023,
But 2024, how many homicides did we have?
we had one.
Yeah, we should all make note of that. That was really good. And the one we had, this helped it. The last one is partnerships. We've been working with partnerships with what cities because of the bordering areas. Because my understanding, the partnerships that we've been able to help each other back and forth.
Yeah, primarily the city of Coachella and also the city of La Quinta, Palm Desert, and surrounding areas within the Coachella Valley.
But I mean, with our city, the boundaries between the county, the city of Coachella, and the city of La Quinta, we've been collaborating our information because crime has no lines of city boundaries.
Right. So this system, this lease, also includes access to cameras throughout the state of California. So if the camera picks up the license plate in the city of Palm Springs, and then we will take that lead and it will hit on a number of cameras so that we can follow that and get the general location.
So for the benefit of the public, because obviously we know, what does the camera actually capture?
It only captures the license plate and just a small part of the vehicle, not the people in the vehicle.
Okay. Thank you, Chief.
You're welcome.
Chief, one quick question. So the cameras, you have 27 more they're adding to it. Is it just, you said 10 are going to go along the freeway. The other ones are in strategic locations throughout, are these throughout the whole city? They're not in communities in the smaller areas. They're on our main furloughs, I take it?
There's actually 17 along the freeways. 17 along the freeways, and then we're adding 10 into the city. 2 of them are going to be off of Miles in the downtown area because we are having all the activity and the increase in growth there. But the additional 8 are just areas that we realize that we need to cover because of the previous crimes that have been committed. We needed them in different areas along our thoroughfares.
Perfect. Thanks, Chief.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Any other questions, comments? Now we can have a motion.
I'll make a motion, approve.
First by Councilmember Furman, second by Councilmember.
I so second.
Yep. Councilmember Strawn, please vote. Unanimously 4-0. That will move on to our last item, which is the naming of the conference rooms. Mr. Montgomery, are you handling this for us?
I certainly will, though I think we need to take care of the rest of the consent calendar, or did we?
No, we did it all one time.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I like that. So this item, Mayor, as you recall, and council members, was on the last council meeting agenda. While there are some months before we need to occupy the building, the sign company will need to start fabrication, and the thought was the conference rooms within the city hall need an identification for functional purposes. A list of names was presented by the Community Services Commission. You see that in the packet. Through some discussions, it was narrowed down to a list. I know the Mayor Pro Tem also, Mayor, had sent you a list of what she would recommend. We're looking for 6 names, if that's the way the council would like to name these conference rooms, and then we can go ahead and pass that on to the sign company. So, Mayor, perhaps however you like to deal with each council member expressing their interests on names, and then we'll come to a consensus, hopefully.
Yeah, and you'll note, Mayor Pro Tem Holmes' picks.
Yes.
Or would you like us to?
Yeah, and I could. She sent these to me. She was most encouraged by or supportive of June McCarroll, Cherry Ishimatu, Jackie Cochran, Bruce Clark, Doug York, and A.G. Tingaman. And that was presented to me. I know Councilmember Ortiz has another ad that isn't included here. I'm sure I don't want to steal his thunder on that one.
Yeah.
But with the Mayor Pro Tem's names, and then as we go down the list, I'll be taking a lot of notes. And
Okay.
I'll see if I can help guide a consensus.
And we have 6, and this
6
is
rooms, yes.
6 rooms, and this is our conference rooms, and this is needed so that we can get the signage and everything going along with our rest of our signage for the actual city.
Exactly. And rather than calling it the Community Development Conference Room or the City Managers, all the departments are kind of close by anyway. This would give meaning, obviously, to these rooms and help us identify them for meeting purposes.
We're going to go the opposite way. Mr. Furman.
Right. This was an item that I had brought up a few months ago because I've asked for naming of a street, and I'll talk about that shortly. Honestly, all these folks deserve to be remembered in our city, and I hope we find something to remember all of them because without a lot of these folks, we wouldn't be in the situation we're in now. And one of these days, I hope I get my name up somewhere. But in the meantime, I appreciate the work that our commission has done, and I appreciate the council. Some of these folks, I would have to go research and see, because I don't know all of them. But I will tell you, I like to see something with A.G. Tingman. He's known as the father of Indio, so I think that's important. The other one is Doug York. He's been memorialized in our city previously, but we removed that for parking. So I want to make sure that we bring him back in some shape or fashion. Some of the other ones, I don't have an issue with, but I want to bring to a couple of folks to the list, because I think it's important that we recognize folks in our city. And one is, or I should say two, is Louis Strange and Audrey Strange. If you don't know who the Strange family is, they're very known in our community. Mr. Strange had a business. He was a painter. He was a union worker. And they're well known. He worked on Eisenhower Medical Center when they were building that. And his family has a long tradition in our community. Him and his wife, they started their company. And I think their name should be added. And also Leo and Nona Haynes. A lot of folks know Mr. Haynes. He lived in our city for a long time. He was the Indio team post captain for 54 years, mentoring youth. He was a veteran in our community. And also he owned the Yellow Cab, which was located at our Indio bus station. So I think it's important that while we make these lists and talk about people and recognize folks, we do it where everyone's been recognized with some equity as well, and I say that because, not because it's Black History Month. These folks are African American, but I think it's important that we recognize the contributions of everybody in our community. So those are the folks I like to add, and husband and wife. Appreciate it.
Any other ones? That's it?
Nope.
Thank you, Mr. Furman. Mr. Ortiz?
I only have one request. When I was thinking about this, I realized we didn't have anything on the history of the area before it was Indio, right? So my request is Chief Cabazon, who led the Desert Cahuilla from the 1830s to the 1870s, gained federal recognition for his community in 1876, and also helped was just a leader for that community. And I know is still a very important leader for our tribal community. So that's my request.
So the chief actually himself,
Yes, Chief Cabazon.
and no others that you're fine? Okay. Mr. Gutron?
Well, I agree with Councilman Ortiz. Not only was he the first, but he was also technically the first resident of Indio, because the tribe was not too far across from the railroad tracks. They had a watering hole there back in the day. That's why that mural is up on Indio Boulevard, to represent their contribution, their part in Indio's history. And as far as everything else, I definitely agree with Councilman Wayman with A.G. Tingman. I also would like to see us with Leroy Pauly, because those two were members of council at the beginning. Doug York, good man, respected him, contributed a lot. They removed the gazebo. I know that we removed the gazebo, but it fell apart. I just found that out. I think we still need to find a gazebo and put it at the municipal golf course. It might not be as fancy, but we need to rededicate that. He was a found and played at Indio Muni anyways, so I think that we can find a place home, and the council can consider doing something. I think we can do it right outside the clubhouse and find a nice place, so that should take care of that. The other one is Sherry Tsumatsu, representative of our Japanese families. She dedicated her life, was a person that made a big difference in the agricultural community, was a big part of Indio, and loved Indio. I also agree with Dr. June Carroll. Her contributing and her caring was the reason she came to the Valley. It was the only opportunity she had to become a doctor, because it was really hard for women physicians to come about. I also do agree with Mr. Strange as well. The Strange family, representing the family and what they gave. I do agree with that. I think that's what, it should be 6, or am I only at 5? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then I gave you one extra to figure it out.
I think you were recommending that we remove Doug York and represent him
Yes,
at the golf course?
that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
I did that because I think that we originally dedicated and because of growth, and I still stick to the recommendation that we destroyed the gazebo, it fell apart, even though we spent a lot of money on it, that I think we need to look at something comparable to do the same thing there and dedicate it there.
And we do have the plaque still.
Yeah, so the big
available,
rock is over at the museum was the decision, so the York memorial's still there, doesn't mean we can't name another thing after him, but that's over at the museum.
So I think so then we back to 6, Mayor,
Yeah.
and take care of Mr. York.
And you can have more than 6, if you want.
I'm good with that.
Okay, so.
What it also does, even if it's not named in this building, it gives them a list that they could go off
Right.
for other things as well.
Yeah, and I think you said it best, Wayman, that all these people are deserving. They've all had an impact on the history of the city of Indio some way. So they're all, worthy. But, we only have 6 conference rooms, so it's a little bit different. The Strange, I know the family. I don't know the actual individuals you're talking about, but if you feel that's important, and Ben does, I'm more than, I know Troy, but his father. So I'm more than happy to do the Stranges. A.G. Tigman was the father of Indio. He came in 1877, founded the city of Indio, worked in the railroad, was first postmaster. So, he would be a good addition, especially being the father of Indio. Sherry Itsumatsu, absolutely the head of Women of Agriculture, started it out there, was part of the Japanese internment camps, endured that and became a big farmer and supported women farmers out here, so that's a great one. I put on there John Noble, too. And I thought about his possibility. I know he has a street after him, but, I'm trying to think of individuals that don't have something that's much named after him. Like Dr. Carrion is a great individual, but he has a school, he has the roads, he has all the other stuff after him. I'm trying to think of people that are different that we can put those plaques on. I agree with Leroy Pauly, because I think, he was the first mayor of the city of Indio, and he had some great opportunities to start the city off in the right way. And then I think June McCarroll, for her stripes in the road, being a doctor out here in Indio, a great opportunity to think about that. We take for granted those stripes in roads. She did it because people were driving down the center of the road and having to get off. So she went out there with some friends and started painting the center of roads, and it kicked on, and off we are. And here we are now. It's just common knowledge and happened here in the city of Indio. And then the last one I think that we probably overlooked was Jackie Cochran. She had a big support, the WAS, part of the community, had the golf course, had her property there. An amazing story, an amazing woman, and brought a lot of world-renowned people, actors, and presidents into the city of Indio and back in the day. And she owned Indian Palms Country Club and the big house across the street from it. So just great individuals that were here in the city. But I'm good with any of the ones you'd like.
I think I knew you were going to mention Dr. Carrion, and I know that he has Avenue 47 was rededicated to Dr. Carrion in the school. But just keep a footnote. He started a foundation that has given over $5 million since it was established to our youth of our community. That's one. He came and had a practice here to help kids and families with eyes, ears, and nose, throat doctor. And then he realized that the city was growing and donated the land where JFK was. At the time, it was Indio Community Hospital, even though we had La Casita on Miles. So, I think we can still probably find, you have the lobby you can dedicate. If you wanted to dedicate the lobby to maybe Mr. Pauly, since he was the first mayor.
And there are future parks, the sports park,
So-
roads, so a lot of opportunities for any of these names that don't make it today. You're
But
right.
it really narrowed it down right now.
Yeah,
more
but
than
there,
it was.
you know what? I got to share this.
Sure.
We have some of these folks, and you know what? All respect to them, and Dr. Carrion, it's a longer story.
Yeah.
With his partnership with the African American community here,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, he has a school named after him. We dedicated a park after him. Has a street named after him. I like to just recognize some other folks.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
and I hope we could do that. I know we have Pauly Poole, but maybe he deserves something different, and I get that. But I think there's power in equity, and you know, and correcting some of our historical, you know, mistakes that we made. And the reason why I say that, and I got to share this, you know, we pride ourselves on being a diverse community, all inclusive. But you know what? The world is not always like that. The world is, so we have to take initiative to recognize everybody. And I shared two families that are African American. I'm the first African American mayor of the city. And I'm very proud of that. You know what happened to me 3 weeks ago? Standing right here downtown, somebody drove by and called me a nigger.
What?
Yeah. And they drove right by and went down Civic Drive and turned the Civic Drive and left while I'm doing the documentary for our community. So we need to show folks, yeah, we are all inclusive. We want to recognize everybody. We want to promote inclusivity. So that's why it's important to me that we recognize these folks.
Well, Council,
And hold on. And I like to ask the city manager this as well. I asked for us to do a cost analysis on changing the street to Martin Luther King. And I'm going to ask that again. And I like Civic Drive to be looked at. I did talk to the city manager about the library, and I appreciate that conversation. But we just got to make these decisions. And I'm not asking to take away from anybody, but we got streets named after birds, trees, other folks. Heck, we have John Nobles named after John Nobles. Half of it, because the other half is still a date in front of the Boys Club. So let's look at being inclusive, because I think, in my heart, that's what Indio stands for. We got a lot of folks in here, and I sat at a lot of their tables and ate dinner. So I know what Indio is all about. So that's why this means a lot to me. And I appreciate that.
Thank you, Mr.
Sorry.
Furman. Mr. Catron, did you?
no, I'm
have
just
something?
going to respect
Give me that.
your words, and I'm sorry that happened to you. It's uncalled for. But I think the grassroots of our community should be represented. That's why I supported when you said
I
Mr.
do.
Strange.
I do.
Yeah.
I believe that.
I can respect that. I think, especially if they've invested a lot in our city and did a lot, I can agree with that.
Yeah. A lot of folks have. Leo Haynes has too.
Yeah.
He was a taxi cab. He owned Yellow Cab. He was an entrepreneur in our city. Way before Lyft, way before Uber, Leo Haynes worked right here at the Greyhound bus station. And a lot of folks know him. You guys know him. You
Well,
guys
my
know
uncle,
their families.
my uncle
Yeah.
Gary opened the program when he was managing Greyhound,
Yeah.
and he knew your family.
Yeah, I appreciate that, but I just think folks need to be recognized, and
Yeah.
we need to stand by our word. And in my heart, I know what Indio stands for, and that's why I bring it up.
And we do apologize for any rudeness that came your way, Mr. Furman. Mr. Ortiz?
Yeah, one of the things that one of the points that Mr. Furman made was, you know, that some of these figures already have certain things named after them here, right? Which helps remember them in our history. And when we don't have that, we lose our history, right? One of the things, when I was looking up Chief Cabazon, I couldn't find any information on him. He was a leader in the tribe for 4 decades. And there's hardly anything. If you try to Google him, there's hardly any information. The Cahuilla language was turned extinct for a while, right? Because it wasn't being taught in the home anymore. No families were learning that language anymore. And so it almost did go extinct. And now there's people teaching that language back in our community, right? But I think it does make a difference. We know Dr. Carrion, right? There's places where we can learn about that history. We do have to start including different parts of our history here to make sure that we don't lose it. Because I know around here, you know, how many people knew who Chief Cabazon even was before this conversation, right?
Yep. So, Mr. City Manager, I know there's some of them have 3 votes. So, I mean, I'm fine with Chief Cabazon. I'm good.
I'm good with it. And I'm good with
I'm
Mr.
good
Strange.
with Mr. Strange. And I'm good with A.G. Tigman. I think we all agree to that. And Sherry, Itsumatsu. So
There's
those
4. The other one that had a few votes, June McCarroll, sorry.
June McCarroll.
McCarroll. And Leroy Pauly had 2. We do have Pauly Poole to the point made. Leo and Nona Haynes and John Nobles.
And the only reason I want to mention about Poly Pool, it might not make it from what we're hearing, so it's going to be gone. I guarantee you, it's not
Yeah.
going to be there.
We're gonna need to move it to the
And
sports
still,
board.
and it will still stay on this list.
Yeah.
We'll still have opportunity to.
So we
But I mean,
have,
just so
we
you
have
know,
4 city manager, and we have the other one, the other,
Yes,
ones.
so Chief Cabazon, the Strange family, A.G. Tingaman, and Sherry Ishimatsu. So the other, maybe Jackie, June McCarroll, Doug York's being recognized elsewhere, as mentioned.
Yeah.
I do think we need to put the gazebo back up. That was made by the Amish, and we had it put there for years.
Yeah,
Put
our friends
place for
at
people to sit
Landmark
there.
have a place for it kind of over by the driving range, I think, for some weddings and those type of
Yeah,
gatherings.
we'd be able to do that.
Yeah, that's
Like
in,
Like I
that's in the
said,
works.
there's options to do to accommodate what we're saying.
So we have,
So,
and all these names will go back into our list that we do, and we appreciate our commission
For
bringing these forward to
recommending
us.
those.
So we have 2 more to pick, so we can get this rolling. What is it out of these ones here that people would agree with? Jackie Cochran, Carol,
I think Jackie Cochran has an airport in the
right?
street.
But that's not in Indio.
It's still, I mean, come on.
Yeah, they have a huge landmark there, that there's education going on about that.
So what else do you recommend then? So we can finish this up.
so there's how many? Only
I would say we would do Leo and Nona Haynes as well as Leroy Polly, and leave June McCarroll for later, possibly. I'm not sure. Is there any way we can incorporate all 3 of those?
I mean, we took out Al McCandless, the library.
Well, no, he's going to be on the
He's
line.
going to be in the
It could
library.
continue there. Well, as Councilmember Gutron said, there might be other little places within the building.
I mean, if
So
we
we'd
get a
have to-
skate park, I think Paulie deserves something bigger, me
Yeah.
personally.
There's another
So,
idea.
That's
But there's
an idea.
Haynes. I don't know the other family, so
Well,
I'm,
that's-
I'm going off of what you,
No,
I
but
know
Can
who
you
they
share
are.
a little bit of
But
history?
that's
Oh, sorry, so you
no,
already
but
did,
that's
my bad.
that's the reason why, because it's not shared.
No one
Right?
knows.
That's the reason why.
I mean-
You have kids and folks in this community who are in their 30s now who have no clue what John Noble's Ranch was.
Well, I'm good with John.
I know. I'm just saying, so when we don't talk about history and recognize it, it's lost. Like
But
I
to
said,
me, Mr. Strange in the valley was
yeah,
good.
Mr.
That was a-
Strange, yeah, but
that was easy.
Leo Haynes was a veteran in our community, African American veteran. He owned a yellow cab. He was an entrepreneur in our community. He served for the Indio Team Post for 54 years, mentoring youth. 54 years. So
Well, I mean, something also, if we're going to do the transportation center, since he dealt with transportation, that would be good too.
that would also be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
a great landmark.
And as a reminder, because I think it's consistent with what you're all saying, the room would say Haynes Conference Room, right? But as you come in, we would have a wall with a nice photo, whatever we can gather. Chief Cavazon will have to find some information, nice plaque, display. So anyone that enters that room and wonders why it's called Cavazon Conference Room, they can learn and maintain the history of why it was named that. So
Because we have the lanes.
it's a great opportunity. I think if there's one left, perhaps if we include Leo and Nona Haynes, there'd be one more. So whether that's
So do you think that
McCarroll,
would be
Polly,
better at the transportation center, where it's gonna be about what they've done?
So what did Miss Elaine Holmes have?
I mean, that
Does she have
more up
one
her
that
alley.
we've done?
one that has not been discussed is Bruce Clark, who I know was an entrepreneur along Indio Boulevard here.
His Clark. truck stop in that.
And she included McCarroll and Jackie Cochran.
Well, I think we should at least try to do one for her.
Okay, well, if we could say right now, we do transportation and we could dedicate that to the Haynes
Yeah.
family,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
more
good
than
with
happy
that.
I'm good with that.
And
I'm
then
good
we
with
could
that.
do some of,
I mean, because
we
he
could-
was, that's what he did.
We
Yeah,
could
I'm
do
good
that
with that.
now.
yeah.
Then we'll go.
We could do that now. I'd be
June
honest.
McCarroll. So we got June McCarroll, and who else do we have?
Bruce Clark and Jackie Cochran, that she had listed. And having another female on the list as
I
well.
like Jackie Cochran myself.
I thought we were taking out Leo and Nona Haynes for
Yeah.
Leroy Polly.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, that's right, I'm sorry.
You're
Do we
right.
have Leroy Paul?
Yeah.
Leroy Pauly wasn't part of that?
No.
No.
Okay,
So now
we're
we're
good
at
then.
6.
We're good.
So read it back to us so we know what we have on.
Chief Cavazon, Lewis and Audrey Strange, A.G. Tingaman, Sherry Chumatsu, Leroy Polly, and June McCarroll.
I'm good with that. Everybody?
I'm good.
Okay. Do you need us to vote on this, or are we good?
Please, and we can put on
Okay.
consent the very
I'll make
next
a
meeting
motion.
for the Haynes family, because we can we can name that now. I mean, it's still, it's a transportation center now. It'll be much bigger
It's
eventually.
gonna be a lot bigger.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got a motion by
I'll make a
Councilmember.
motion with the condition of what Councilmember Wayman Furman did regarding the transportation center, and that's how I'm moving.
A second.
Okay, first by Councilmember Gutron, second by Councilmember Furman. Please vote. Everybody? Ben?
Sorry.
Passed unanimously 4-0. Thank you very much for the spirited discussion. It's an important issue, and glad that we got that resolved. With that, we'll move on to public comments for items not on the agenda. This is time set aside for the public comments for items not on the agenda, and they're provided for 3 minutes. We're going to do Mr. Gilbert Murillo. Mr. Murillo.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I'm just here again just to make sure, and I heard some nice things today in regards to an update on the public safety campus. Again, I'm here for the same purpose that I've been here in the past, and that is not to forget them, okay? You mentioned a lot of names today that history-wise, and one of the things that if you're going to deal with history with the police department is they're building. The last time they built a police station here was 1987, 78, no, 77. Yeah, I think it was with, I'm trying to think in terms of the building itself, but again, what I really want to make sure is that we need this, the city needs it. I hear all the time the amount of time in terms of the infrastructures that are being built here at the City of Indio. History-wise, it's like anything else. I've always been one who supported police here because we have had a really good history with our police here in the City of Indio. It's always been good. I was one who was involved in back in the day when I was Dean of Students at Indio High School, and we were set up for the very first time we had an SRO, and we had probation, and I oversaw the whole thing, and this is where the beginning of a relationship that I had with the police department and its people. And it's just like anything else. I hear Councilman Furman here, next student, you know, Ben Gutron, the next student, and I've seen them growing up here when they were 15, 16, 17, the Strange family, I've known them all. So, again, it's important, and I just want to make sure that, again, we're moving, I think, in the right direction. I heard Councilman Gutron there mention the idea that they had that meeting, and that's what I'm looking forward to, is to be able to develop that plan, come up with a building plan for the police station, and hopefully we can get this thing moving by the end of the year. And I know there's people here that will support it, but at the same time, I know that the difficulty is in the monies, but we do not want to lose sight. And my goal has always been, I want to see this thing happen, and I want to see it happen as soon as possible because I think they deserve it. Just like quality of life. Everybody has a quality of life. Well, I want to improve the police station's quality of life. I want to improve for the police themselves, all the officers, everybody that works there. They want to go to a new building. They want to be able to occupy a building that they can be proud of. And that's what I want from this city. Okay? Anyway, other than that, can I comment on a little bit on this other thing? Or
You can do it in 7 seconds.
Or
7
the mayor can meet with
What is it that you'd like, Mr. Merrill?
Well, the history, again, you know, I've been here a while, and the Strange family, I know them. One of them's here, Jackie. Jackie and I go back a long time. So the point is, that we were at opposite teams. I was at Coachella, he was at Indio. So anyway, but the point is, yes, you have some good names there, some really good names. The Haynes family, I know Charlie, I know Leo, I knew them all. And you have some excellent families. The Strange family's been here forever. And they have contributed a lot. They went through our high schools here, and all of them have been upstanding people. So anyway, I just wanted to comment on that. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Coach. Mr. Mark Gowan, would you come up to the mic, please, sir? Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, Chief, and everybody else. My name is Mark McGowan. I'm here on behalf of Category 5 Excellence. It's a non-profit training facility located right here in the city of Indio on Commerce Street. And this is the first time that we're able to write for the community grant, so I wanted to come down and thank the city of Indio and the City Council that hopefully if we show favor in that, we'll be purchasing new equipment for the children and the youth that are working out from ages 5 to 17 years old. I just wanted to read the mission statement. And I'm the secretary and I sit on the board. So this is very passionate to me, and we train our youth by strengthening their mental health, their body, and their soul, because we know that our youth is the future. We know there's such struggles out on the street, and we're doing it here, right here in the city of Indio, like 40 children. And we have a lofty goal of next year, hopefully we'll be at 100 children right here in the city of Indio. And people always ask me, okay, that's the what, that's the who you are. We have professional trainers, and you know one of the owners you've met, and Coach Fox, and you know they're always in the community trying to help out and have events. But it's always about the why. You know, this is not my daytime job. My daytime job is I work with the most chronically homeless who are addicted to substances and struggle with mental health because I'm certified in both areas. And I've done that for a couple of years, almost 15 now. And most of it's been in the city of Indio. And everybody always asks me, Mark, why are people homeless? Why are they homeless? Why can't they get a job? What happened? What's going on? And I questioned that myself too. And I said, why is it? Why do we have this problem? And then I realized, you know, one day it just became so clear to me that maybe we need to walk back the hands of time. And we need to start working with our youth at 5, 6, 7, 10 years old, 11 years old, 12 years old. Let's start pouring our resources into our children and build up their confidence and make them secure in themselves, make them believe that they can live up to their God-given potential, and work them out at a gym, train them, show that camaraderie, the teamwork. We work with the local teams. We work with Indio High School. We work with the youth right here in Indio, because I always believe that if we make a difference in a child's life, it will dictate the future. And I'm hoping some young woman or some young man that we are training today will be the future mayor of tomorrow in the city of Indio. And at the very least, some police officers and some firemen and some local servants and people that are willing to give back to this great city that I have worked with for many, 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 many years. And I believe that it all came around to me because my son was bullied really bad in school and he lost all of his confidence. And I met these guys, these trainers, and they turned his life around. And right there I said, if that can happen for my child, it can happen for many more children. Because really, it is about the youth. We want to keep them off the streets, out of gangs, off drugs, be able to go somewhere and talk about what's going on at home. And I just pray and hope that the city of Indio will support us as we want to grow in the next year to a 10,000 square foot building. I know it's a big idea of mine, but I believe if we're training 100 kids, we'll see a difference in this wonderful city.
Thank you.
So thank you for your time.
And did you put in a grant already through our program?
I did, sir.
Thank you very
and
much.
I really appreciate everybody and that opportunity.
Okay.
Have a great day today.
And I only have one more. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
And I only have one more request to speak. Is there anybody else here that would like to speak before I go on to the last one?
Mayor, I do have Eric Limas.
Mr. Lemus, why don't you take the mic, please?
Yes, hello. Good evening, Council. My name is Eric Lemus. I'm a resident producer, creative artist, and a community organizer here in the city of Indio. Today, however, I am here as the lead for Coachella Valley Immigrant Dignity Coalition. We're a coalition that's comprised of Todik Legal Center, Danzazteca Sitaclunac, Bayanihan Desert, Inland Equity Community Land Trust, and Flying Doctors. Our efforts in the past have been comprised to organize and bring dignity to the lives and people that make our Coachella Valley great, and additionally to our residents and citizens. Additionally, our efforts impact the lives of our workforce in the Coachella Valley through policy and systemic change. I first most would like to thank the city for making its contribution to bringing more dignity to the lives of our international workers here in Indio. As we know, our migrant and international workers are facing scrutiny and uncertainty during this time at the federal level. And despite that, the city has done its job by making an announcement, right, that was made yesterday through the Indio Police Department. So I thank you for that. The time's uncertain, right? Some of our families are facing fear, and this has a long been ongoing history, not just here in the Coachella Valley, but throughout the nation. In the past, we've held actions here as a coalition here at Indio City Hall for International Day of the Worker, as well as the city of Coachella. We've done this through peaceful efforts. We've also organized actions outside of International Customs Border Patrol, in which I'm happy to announce that some of the council here were there to help facilitate those meetings. And although these conversations were not very easy to be held, we did it peacefully and we felt like we were heard. So obviously a lot of sentiment on both sides of what should be or should not be done. But the point is that we were able to hold those conversations. And in the past, we've advocated for things like Sanctuary City. And the past city manager, Mark Scott, actually did an excellent job to help us convene. And prior council members, me and Strange were also present to have those conversations. So there's a lot of still work to be done, and which we'd like to invite to continue those conversations that we had about almost 7 years ago. And I'm not necessarily asking the city to take a position, but to actually, hear us out and hear what the community has to say. And I know that we will continue to have a prosperous and very progressive conversations of what will come out of there. So we thank you very much for all our public safety officers and making sure that, that they are serving and making sure that the lives of our residents here in Indio are served. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lemus. Thank you for your comments. And anybody else? Mr. Strange, do you want to come up? You can fill out a form after you're done, but go ahead and come up to the mic, sir.
I'd just like to say thank you, and I appreciate the invitation to come down and see what's going on. I've never really, back in the day, come to the meetings and things like that. But I'd just like to add, my dad and mom, maybe 4 out of those 5, we've done work for the Itsumatsu Sherry, and probably most of the one, even Jackie Cochran, my dad, and they did work for them back in the day, So I'd like to just appreciate, the thought for. I wasn't, looking for anything spectacular because I can remember in my own mind. In fact, I was there, at the time. I'm probably younger than y'all probably think. But anyway, I appreciate that, and I will be getting involved a little bit more in the city council or the city. I was just cruising. That's all. Thank you,
Mr.
Appreciate
Gutron.
it.
Thank you, sir. Did you want to say something?
No, I was just going to tell him to thank you for him coming. Mr. Strange, thank you for coming. Thank you for talking about your family. Yeah. It is important. And just thank you for coming.
Appreciate it. Also, I want to recognize Cynthia Hernandez as our elected city clerk, and Mr. Rob Rockwell, our elected city treasurer, here with us too. Thank you for being here.
Mr. Mayor, if
Yes,
I can,
sir.
can I make a recommendation
Absolutely.
that we, in this meeting in memory of the folks we lost in the 2 terrible plane accidents, especially in Washington, D.C. A lot of us have been traveling, and a lot of us serve on transportation boards and committees, and so we all really feel it when tragic accidents like this happen. So I just want to
Absolutely.
meet in their memory.
Absolutely. And Mr. Mike Smudio. Sir, come up.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, City Manager, Chief. I've got a couple things that I'd like to ask. First of all, I know that Tim, he is here. I didn't see him. I just want to thank Tim. He's done some awesome work. I mean, I call him for potholes or something going on with the streets. Tim's on it. Got a great team member. Thank you, Tim. We have an issue at the North Jackson Park. We've got vehicles that are driving up over the curb, going up the wash, onto the CV link. They stop at the end over by the Jackson Bridge. They exercise for half an hour or whatever. Get back in their truck, drive back down the grass there. We thought it might. I had conversation with Mr. Gutron, and we thought maybe if we get some of those, I don't know what you actually call them, but I call them a pole.
Pylons.
Bollards.
If we could line, you know, put them so far apart where vehicles can't get up there, because that's the only access that they can get up. If they get on top of the leak and they come down, they can't get out of that park.
No.
So that was one thing. Also, the dirt on the infields of North Jackson Park, it really, really needs to be replaced. It's got a lot of blow sand in it. You watch the kids out there; they're slipping, they're falling. It's a big hazard. And if you go out there and look, just walk it, you'll feel the sand. There's a lot of it in there. So I'd like to see if we could maybe get it replaced. Great names you guys came up with. Awesome. I mean, I've known the Stranges all my life. I've been here all my life. Some great names. So I commend you all for the names. Let's see. The police station. I just want to say thank you for continuing the conversation, and hopefully we get it done. This city really needs it. We're growing, and we need that station. So, thank you. And Jackson Park is looking so nice. They put sod up all the way up the wash, and if you go by, I bet you anytime you go by there, you'll see a kid or somebody on a piece of cardboard sliding down that wash. And that's what we used to do back in the day when I was young, right? So the park is looking really nice. Thank you for that.
That was our bobsled. That was our version of a bobsled.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Samudio.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. And the police station will be built. It's just the final details and that. With that, is there anyone else that wishes to speak? If not, we will adjourn this meeting in memory of all those who were lost in the plane crashes in the recent months in D.C. and Philadelphia. So with that, we'll just take a quick moment of silence. We'll adjourn this meeting at 6:12, and we'll be back on February 19th.
So I get an F.